Hey, it's Dr. Ernst, host of the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. Are you like most Americans wondering if there's a way other than using prescriptive medications to deal with cholesterol, blood pressure, triglycerides, even palpitations and arrhythmias? Well, I'm here to share with you the research is profound. Cardiovascular function has more to do with your neurological integrity, your toxicity, and the health of your gut than your genetics, your diet, and even your cholesterol. Man, that should make you wake up. I've got a free Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook for you. All the guides, the protocols, even the supplements that'll help you heal yourself. All I need to know is, do you want it? If yes, text the word HEART with your name and email to 704-906-2094. And as a bonus, I'm hosting a free live masterclass Saturday, June 21st. It's at 10 a.m. in the morning. I'll show you specifically for you, how do you get tested the right way? What can you implement to start becoming your own healer? Simply text the word HEART plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. 704-906-2094.
Beyond wine, we really care about health. The health of the planet and the health of each other. That's what inspired us to start this business. Our family of team members meets every morning for a group meditation, followed by an open gratitude session. We believe a sound mind with a focus on peace is the best instrument for change. Joint meditation is the cornerstone of our company culture, and it helps us remember what's important, spreading joy and love, just like our family growers. Our family is a collection of passionate, health-conscious individuals who love to laugh and enjoy each other's company. We eat seasonally, grow our own vegetables, cook together, and share wine. Our team is incredibly dedicated to our mission. Everything from sourcing the wines to answering service questions. Your natural wines were found and sourced around the world by our wine team. They taste every one, oversee their lab testing, and choose exactly which ones go in which box. If you order, your individual box will be packed by our incredibly hardworking fulfillment team. If you have any questions, your service requests will be handled by a wonderfully loving member experience family who only have one goal in mind, your 100% happiness. This video is put together by our talented media team, filmed and edited in-house, just like the rest of our artful media. From our unique creations to our printed lifestyle piece called A Matter of Taste. We put love into everything we do, and we hope to share it with you.
Would you like to experience a better night's sleep? Want to feel well rested and ready for your day? Discover an amazing solution with Celient Sleep Recovery. Our Celient Sleep Recovery products are made from a patented yarn embedded with a blend of 13 infrared active minerals. Celient technology never washes out. The benefits will last for their entire lifespan. Minerals reflect the body's own energy by using Celient infrared active technology, boosting your oxygen levels and improving circulation to reach REM sleep gracefully. Our customers love to comfortably sleep throughout the night because of Celient. We've conducted 9 independent clinical studies by well-respected scientific institutions and universities that prove the many positive effects Celient has on the body. Our technology is designed to help you achieve a refreshing sleep recovery. Get into bed to experience our smooth Celient Egyptian cotton blend sheets. Protect your mattress against the sands of time with our Celient mattress protectors. With our pillow protectors, you get the benefits of our recovery therapy. Explore new places and feel well rested throughout your journeys. Discover luxurious support that allows you to sleep in almost any position. Neck blankets are small and compact. You can bring them with you just about anywhere. Experience the foundation your body deserves. Start waking up refreshed and always ready for the day ahead. It's time to achieve the best sleep of your life to unlock your hidden potential. Start experiencing a better night's sleep with our Celient Sleep Recovery products today. Celient. Recycle your body's energy.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. Hey, my name is Dr. Ernst. It's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you get to be set free from your health problems. And today, guys, we're covering one of the most sticky, clogging subjects that, in my opinion, is messing up more than just our arteries. It's been clogging our minds with misinformation for decades. I'm talking about cholesterol, more specifically, the massive myth that total cholesterol levels determine your heart's health. What if I told you that total cholesterol is not the villain that it's been made out to be? In fact, the whole HDL, LDL connection. What if instead those lipoproteins are actually healing molecules that your body innately produces to protect you? That's right. This show today is going to unveil what's known as the great cholesterol myth. There have been books written about this. There's even been documentaries. The idea is going to be mind-opening. Total cholesterol, HDL, LDL are not accurate predictors of your total cardiovascular health. And chances are, like most Americans, you've probably had your cholesterol levels checked on your annual physical. Chances are the numbers come back north of 200. Chances are your doctors probably talked to you about the risks of heart disease and that you must be on a statin. But here's what your doctor isn't telling you. Again, total cholesterol is a terrible predictor of overall cardiovascular function. In fact, listen to this American Heart Journal study. 75% of people hospitalized for heart attacks have actual normal cholesterol levels. In fact, they dug even deeper. They went to LDL, which is supposed to be the oxidizing, sticky, clogging cholesterol. Normal, 75% of Americans normal cholesterol levels despite having a heart attack. So that's not just a crack in the foundation of cholesterol causes heart disease. That's a full-blown collapse to the theory of cholesterol connection to heart disease. So where did this confusion come from? Well, number one, I have it all outlined and sourced for you guys in my newest ebook, Heart Disease, Heal Thyself. Not just the history, but the idea that there are cultures that have cholesterols of 250, 290, 300, no heart disease. How can that be? Because cholesterol doesn't cause heart disease. Download the free ebook. It's going to give you guides on how you can actually today start to lower your cholesterol rapidly by doing it the right way, not focusing on your cholesterol. The ebook is yours free. Just simply text the word heart with your name and email to 704-906-2094. And as you know, I'm hosting a masterclass Saturday, June 21st. Yes, it's a couple weeks away from today, but it's going to sell out. We're already over 300 registered people who are looking for natural solutions to high blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, palpitations, arrhythmias. This is the event for you. It's free. And I'm going to take you through how you can become your own cardiologist and you can actually solve your heart health issues yourself. Join us for the event. Simply text the word heart with your name and email to 704-906-2094. So listen, where did all this idea that cholesterol causes heart disease come from? Well, the roots trace back, listen to this, to the middle of the 20th century. A gentleman whose name was Ansel Keys had a famous study published called the 7 Countries Study where he linked dietary fat, cholesterol, and heart disease. But what he left out that we now know is that if there was a country that had high levels of cholesterol but low levels of cardiovascular disease, they just deleted the data. So his flawed data gave birth to this low-fat, low-cholesterol craze where we started demonizing eggs and butter, and we started making all this synthetic butters and fats and oils, vegetable oils, seed oils. All this stuff began back in the 40s and 50s. And Big Pharma, of course, was ready to cash in. Listen to this. In 1987, the first ever statin was produced, Mevacor. And at that time, cholesterol levels were considered high if they were north of 250. So you have to think of it as the total cholesterol levels of supposed heart health over time kept diminishing and diminishing simply because there was the introduction of a medication known as a statin. Started off at 250, then it went to 240, then it dropped to 220, then to 200. And now, today, even some experts are suggesting that your total cholesterol levels go under 180. And how did they come up with these recommendations? It's not science, it's not facts, it's just simply committees that are stacked with pharmaceutical consultants with each new guideline of lowering total cholesterol as healthy It opened up hundreds of millions of Americans to now be prescribable. But here's what they didn't tell you. Cholesterol is something you cannot physically live without. Did you know your brain is 60% cholesterol by volume? 25% of your total cholesterol is physically floating around inside of your brain. Cholesterol is the raw material for every single steroid hormone in your body. So everyone today, low T, estrogen, progesterone out of balance. We see it like crazy. 50 plus, most men taking testosterone. Most women rubbing progesterone or estrogen onto their body. And yet it's because cholesterol is needed to make those hormones. And most people are lowering their cholesterols inappropriately. Cholesterol strengthens your cell membranes. It produces bile so you can actually digest food. Lowering cholesterol technically doesn't fix anything. It actually puts you at risk. We know that ultra low levels of cholesterol can lead to depression, memory loss, hormonal imbalance, and yes, even earlier cardiovascular issues. So the truth is, we're not sick because our cholesterol is high. We're sick, our body's under attack, we have an underlying root cause, and the high cholesterol is trying to help the inflammation and the damage. So today we're going to talk about how do we break apart these myths behind cholesterol. We're going to talk about the tests that you should be getting that are more important than cholesterol. And we're going to talk about the top 5 things you can do, not addressing cholesterol, but addressing the underlying attacks. What are those top 5 attacks that are making our body sick? And if we fix those, guess what happens to our cholesterol levels? They innately stabilize and come to where they should be. So again, how did all this begin? Well, we have to go back to the 1950s, a time when heart disease was beginning to climb. Researchers were scrambling to try to find the culprit. And a physiologist named Ancel Keys determined that, based on his study, he threw together a design. It was called the 7-country study, where he showed a correlation between high-fat diets, elevated cholesterol, and increased risk for heart disease. The problem with this was that he handpicked certain countries. So, for example, he ignored France and Switzerland, countries where they ate tremendous amounts of fat, yet they had very low risks of heart disease. So the flawed methods, though, didn't stop them from gathering the attention of policymakers and even the American Heart Associations. And by the 1960s, due to his influence, the American Heart Association started telling Americans, stop eating saturated fats, stop eating cholesterols. It was the beginning of the public health movement that now has gone across the world and even across generations, so that fat became the enemy. Butter was terrible. So what came in? Margarine, which was laden with trans fats and even plastics, and we know it's a very dangerous oil today. Eggs were demonized as being high in cholesterol, and so people were shifting their foods to more highly processed, seed oil-based, low cholesterol foods. But this fear of fat and cholesterol spread all across the world, and pharmaceutical industry took it as an opportunity. If we can identify cholesterol as a villain, we can now come up with medications to try to stop the production of cholesterol. In 1987, Merck released Mevacor, the very first statin ever designed to lower cholesterol. And what it did was it inhibited the enzyme in the liver, HMG-CoA, that produces cholesterol. Then came Zocor, then came Lipitor, then came Crestor. And now, because each of them have raked in billions of dollars, the idea of low total cholesterol under 200, low LDL under 100, and an HDL somewhere between 50 and 60s, being heart healthy became the idea of how we determine if your heart is healthy or not. What was used to be considered healthy is now labeled as dangerous. And suddenly, of course, with all of this, millions of Americans now became prescribable. And the kicker is that statins themselves have never been proven to prevent heart attacks in the vast majority of people. Do they lower LDL cholesterol? Yes, but that doesn't necessarily translate into less or fewer cardiovascular events. In fact, multiple studies, and this one is phenomenal, you guys really need to look into this, called the Jupiter trial, show that statins only marginally reduce the risks. In fact, most often there's significant side effects with this subtle reduction: muscle pain, liver damage, memory loss, even increased risks of diabetes. What's worse is that most people believe that they can still eat poorly and have a sedentary lifestyle because they're on a statin, which will protect them. But here we are now, 60 years later. We're operating under a model that was never really validated by science. We've built public health policies. We even have food guidelines. We have clinical protocols. We have this scientific failure. Heart disease is getting worse and worse and worse despite us pushing our cholesterol numbers lower and lower and lower. So I'd like to say we need to stop looking at the total number and start looking at the correct numbers, which actually predict cardiovascular health than just total cholesterol. Because the idea of what used to be considered normal has shifted. In the earlier days, 30s, 40s, 50s, if you had a total cholesterol that was, say, 245, 250, they would say nothing's wrong. It was considered fully acceptable. But in the 1970s and even in the early 80s, as statins started to gain popularity, the number started to change. It went from 250 to 220. Then it went to 200. Now, currently, the push is to try to get people as low as 180 or even under that. But the biology of the human body is going to fight back. When we try to push back a molecule that we're using for healing, we're going to get an effect. Behind these adjustments, listen to the National Cholesterol Education Panel. In 2004, the group shocked the public by saying that LDL levels should be aggressively lowered across the board, but an investigational study that was done by the Public Library of Science found out that 8 out of 9 panel members that made this recommendation had pharmaceutical ties to the companies that were making statins. So that's right, the people that are coming up with what's considered the normal numbers are the ones who are getting funded by the pharmaceutical companies like Merck and Pfizer and AstraZeneca. So it's now coming to the stake where it's becoming more about who makes the most amount of money in sake of our health. We drive the numbers down, it doesn't actually make a change. As the numbers drift down, then the number of prescriptions climb. And sadly, perfectly healthy individuals who have no symptoms whatsoever, but because their cholesterol is slightly over 180, will start to become prescribed. By 2020 in the US, 92 million Americans are taking statin drugs. Guys, that's 1 in 3 people over the age of 40. And there's a high likelihood you're probably taking a statin. But what's worse than this is that most physicians, unfortunately, are still tied into the dogma that high cholesterol causes heart disease, despite the fact that there are numerous studies showing the opposite. In my opinion, it's a tragedy that millions of Americans are being medicated unnecessarily and exposing themselves to even higher risks because of side effects with not addressing the underlying real root cause. So if you're somebody who's taking a statin, if you have high cholesterol and they're trying to drive your numbers down, I want to share with you why cholesterol is absolutely vital. And again, all of this is found in the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook, along with the reasons why we don't want to push the number down, but instead we want to go after the functional root causes. Cholesterol elevates as a response to either inflammation, an infection, an attack, a toxicity. So today I'm going to reveal with you what are those underlying causes, but you need to get the ebook to have your mind opened up. Simply text the word HEART with your name and email again to 704-906-2094. I'll send the ebook to you, and you can join me for the Masterclass Saturday, June 21st. If you're looking to lower your reliance on statins and blood pressure medications or anything you're taking for heart health, the event is going to show you what you can do to break free. Why did cholesterol get such a bad rap? Okay, it's not a toxin. It's a life-sustaining molecule that your body physically makes because you can't live without it. Cholesterol plays a role in your physiology. Did you know it makes your vessels less stiff? Cholesterol is a foundation for communication. It absorbs nutrients. It helps to eliminate waste. It's actually a detox molecule. Every single cell in your body uses cholesterol, especially fast-replacing, highly active ones like your brain, your liver, your gut, and your heart. Without cholesterol, you cannot heal, you cannot regenerate, and it's absolutely essential. We discussed earlier that 25% of your total cholesterol sits inside of your brain. Numerous studies are now showing that if you're using statins to push your cholesterol levels down, we start to see cognitive decline, memory loss, depression, even higher risks of things like Alzheimer's disease and cognitive decline. In fact, the lower your cholesterol levels, the research shows you have higher rates of things like suicide and violent behavior and anxiety. These studies should push us into rushing to this idea that we shouldn't necessarily push cholesterol down, but instead we should try to figure out where is the inflammation coming from that's driving cholesterol up in the first place. We talked about it briefly. Cholesterol is a raw material for hormone production. And this massive epidemic of low testosterone and estrogen-progesterone imbalances in both men and women, in my opinion, is because if you drive the cholesterol levels down, you're getting rid of building blocks that you need to produce hormones that we can't live without. All of our major steroid hormones come from cholesterol. So if your testosterone is low, your body's innate response will be to elevate cholesterol because it is a precursor to helping you make testosterone. But if you innately look at it and go, oh my God, like a heart attack's about to happen, and you start lowering cholesterol, you can't rebuild hormones. This means when you push down, you're not just making your blood markers look good on labs, but you're interfering with your entire endocrine system. Low libido, adrenal fatigue, menstrual irregularities, and even infertility can all be downstream effects of pushing your cholesterols too low. And don't forget about the bile acids that we need to help us to digest fat. So all the fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, K, they're actually made from cholesterol. And guys, it's not a mistake. Your body was innately and divinely created. The genius of human biology is that it knows how to take care of itself. So if your cholesterol is high, you should be asking yourself, are you deficient in fat-soluble vitamins? Are your hormones lower than they should be? Is your cholesterol responding to try to help you, not harm you? And again, we've been led to believe this lie that cholesterol clogs our arteries like grease clogs a kitchen sink. But it's an overstated, outdated view. The real issue, if you want to talk about it, is oxidation and inflammation of the cholesterols that are floating around your body because of, righty here it is, inflammation, toxicity, metabolic dysfunction, leaky gut, and neurological subluxations. If you blame cholesterol for heart disease, it is the equivalent of blaming the firemen for the fire they're trying to put out. Just because they're present on the scene doesn't mean they caused it. Your body raises cholesterol as a healing process of repair and regeneration. Think of cholesterol as the first responder. So before you celebrate a super low cholesterol score with taking statins, remember, lower isn't better. In fact, many centurions, people that have lived beyond 100, have high cholesterol levels according to today's standards of under 200. Multiple studies show that high cholesterol is not associated with with an elevated risk of heart disease. In fact, low cholesterol isn't associated with a low of heart disease. When we suppress cholesterol, we're shifting our body's physiology and we're causing a bigger effect. So what if there were tests, which there are? How awesome is this? They're all listed in the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook. Grab this today. This is your resource for free cardiovascular information on how to do this yourself. Simply text the word heart plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. We'll zip the ebook to you today, and you can join us for the Masterclass that I'm hosting on Saturday, June 21st. This is where the rubber hits the road. I'm giving you guys information today to wake you up, but you really need to take action and join a Masterclass. That's where I show you, hey, here are the tests you can go get. Here's what these numbers should be. Here's how you lower it. Here's what you do to fix it. Here's for you specifically. We custom tailor them to the individuals at the event. Simply text the word heart plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. Ebook is yours free. Masterclass Saturday, the 21st of June, free. And why don't you become the hundreds of thousands here in the Charlotte area that have gotten rid of the reliance on their medications by using the Ask Dr. Ernst method? Foundational functional medicine. Find the root cause, fix that, and watch your cholesterol levels. Oh, by the way, watch your blood pressure levels and your triglyceride levels reset back to normal. What are the 5 tests that we should get instead of looking at total cholesterol? What a great question. I'm so glad you asked it. Thankfully today, functional medicine offers a massive suite of how we can look at the true root causes, which is inflammation, oxidation, and toxicity. Perhaps the first more revealing test than total cholesterol is the coronary artery calcium score, a very easy non-invasive test. Ultra low dose CT looks at the actual arteries of the vessels to find out if they're beginning to calcify, because calcium plaque is the first, not cholesterol, sign of inflammation, irritation to your cardiovascular system. Unlike a cholesterol test, which only tells you what's floating around your blood, the calcium artery scores actually shows us if you're having early calcification of a vessel. If the score is at 0, you're basically at no risk whatsoever for a heart attack, regardless of what your cholesterol score is. It takes less than 5 minutes to have a scan done, usually costs about $140 or $150, and you can find them even locally by just looking up coronary artery calcium score in your city. Number 2, instead of just counting cholesterol molecules, how many do I have? We can do something called an NMR lipid profile, which measures the size of the particles, not just their count. What kind of LDL cholesterols are you carrying? We know this. Very small, dense LDL particles are more likely to penetrate the walls of the arteries, and they can become oxidized. In contrast, however, large, fluffy particles, way less harmful. So you might have an elevation in LDL, but it could be that you have the large, fluffy particles, which is actually helping you. This is why an NMR test is a game changer. It gives you more context as to the size of the particles, not just the total number. Could you have a total cholesterol elevated and LDL elevated, but it be healthy for you if they're the large, fluffy particles? Yes. We can also look at something called lipoprotein A, or what is abbreviated as LPA. It's genetically influenced and it acts like a cholesterol coating molecule. It's an inflammatory protein. High levels of lipoprotein A strongly more associated with cardiovascular disease than cholesterol alone. Yet most standard panels very rarely look at lipoprotein A. And if you add to that C-reactive protein, or what's known as HSC-reactive protein, it's a systemic inflammatory marker. Now we get to see the bigger picture, chronic inflammation. If we want to look at inflammation, let's go even deeper. Homocysteine, an amino acid, when elevated, shows that there's challenges with methylation and vascular integrity. It is known that high levels of homocysteine damage the blood lining vessels and can accelerate atherosclerotic plaquing. The good news, taking certain nutrients and vitamins like methylated B vitamins and methylation supports can actually help to clear homocysteine. We can lower inflammation, bringing CRP levels down. We can work on changing the size and shape of your cholesterol molecules, going from small to large. And we can work on detoxing the human body, reducing inflammation, which helps to keep you from scarring and having calcium plaque within the artery. So do you see it? There are so many other tests available for you specifically on how to find out, is your heart actually at risk or not despite your cholesterol levels? Every test is mentioned in the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook, along with steps that you can implement right now to start reducing inflammation, upregulating your detox pathways, helping your metabolism so you can start to fix the root cause and let your body heal by itself. So there you have it, the truth behind the cholesterol curtain. We've been uncovering how this war has been waged against cholesterol with flawed science, and how Big Pharma has changed the numbers simply to increase the amount of prescription drugs, and the fact that cholesterol itself is not a villain. It's a life-sustaining healing molecule. We looked at 5 medical tests. I just gave them to you that are much more better predictors of total cholesterol. And when we come back from this commercial break, the top 5 reasons your cholesterol is climbing in the first place, and what you can do specifically, naturally, functionally for each of those 5 and become a cholesterol king. So you can bring your levels back to where they should be without focusing on them, and instead addressing the inflammation, the toxicity, the imbalance in your physiology. Hey, take a moment right now. Text the word HEART plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. The Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook, a functional guide to reversing and preventing heart disease. Yours free right now, 704-906-2094. Masterclass is also Saturday, June 21st. And guess what? We're already north of 300 people registered. Don't have the fear of missing out. Join us right now, 704-906-2094. We just need your name, email, and the word HEART, and it's yours. Hey, it's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We've designed a fully curated membership program. Every selection you receive is different and unique. Every wine is picked by our wine team, lab tested for purity, and curated into a special box for your enjoyment. So how does the membership work? We offer two main options: a half case of 6 bottles or a full case of 12. You can request all reds, all whites, or a perfect split of both. Then you can set the frequency, monthly or every other month. We offer a similar simple membership for rosé and sparkling wines. After you choose these basic options, we'll do the rest. With every box we send you, we aim to present the greatest diversity of flavors, textures, and profiles. There's a healthy mix of the classics, but also rare varietals. We do this because natural wines taste different from their commercial counterparts. We want to share the best possible experience with you so you can discover new wines you love. And you can always reorder a wine that took your heart, or ask us to avoid certain profiles. The best part is, you don't need any wine knowledge to fully enjoy these boxes. We curate our selections to be enjoyed without worry. Ultimately, this is Dry Farm Wines. We are so grateful to be able to share the power of natural wines with you.
Would you like to experience a better night's sleep? Want to feel well rested and ready for your day? Discover an amazing solution with Celient Sleep Recovery. Our Celient Sleep Recovery products are made from a patented yarn embedded with a blend of 13 infrared active minerals. Celient technology never washes out. The benefits will last for their entire lifespan. Minerals reflect the body's own energy by using Celient infrared active technology, boosting your oxygen levels and improving circulation to reach REM sleep gracefully. Our customers love to comfortably sleep throughout the night because of Celient. We've conducted 9 independent clinical studies by well-respected scientific institutions and universities that prove the many positive effects Celient has on the body. Our technology is designed to help you achieve a refreshing sleep recovery. Experience the foundation your body deserves. Start waking up refreshed and always ready for the day ahead. It's time to achieve the best sleep of your life to unlock your hidden potential. Start experiencing a better night's sleep with our Celient Sleep Recovery products today. Celient. Recycle your body's energy.
What if we told you that the health benefits of coffee could actually be increased through conscious roasting, sourcing, and processing? Introducing Purity, a health-conscious coffee company. At Purity, we've brought together a world-class team to analyze every step in the production chain from cherry to cup. We make decisions with only one thing in mind: how can we make the healthiest coffee in the world? Here's our 3-step process. Step 1, we search the world for the highest quality organic green beans that meet our exacting standards. Way less than 1% of coffee worldwide fit our sourcing criteria. Step 2, we test, and test again to create a specific roasting protocol for each harvest that maximizes healthy compounds and minimizes toxins. Step 3, we nitrogen pack our coffee within 48 hours of roasting and deliver to your door every 2 weeks to ensure maximum freshness. The result is the ultimate coffee drinking experience. You'll not only taste the difference in our clean, healthy coffee, with Purity, you'll feel the difference.
Our coffee club members report a bright, alert lift with less jitters than regular coffee and much more gentle on the stomach.
Sign up for Purity today, and you'll never have to worry about your source for healthy coffee again.
Welcome back. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. Hey, I'm your host, Dr. Ernst. And yes, this is a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you get to be set free from your health problems. Hey, if you're just joining us, we have been dismantling one of the biggest medical misconceptions of our time. The idea that cholesterol is a reliable indicator of heart disease. Hey, in the last segment, we exposed the flawed science behind the cholesterol hypothesis, revealing how pharmaceutical industries have manipulated the normal ranges for the past decades plus, 2, 3, 4 decades, where they've been lowering what the ideal target is because it expands hundreds of millions of people to new pharmaceutical means for lowering their cholesterol. In fact, we've showed you how cholesterol was an essential molecule for health. It is a first responder. It's a healing molecule, not something that you should be fearing or forcibly lowering with medications when you address the underlying root cause. Remember, cholesterol elevates because your body is either deficient in fat-soluble vitamins, hormones are out of balance, you're toxic, you're inflamed, your insulin levels are high. It is a response to the health of your body. So think of it this way: high levels of cholesterol, low levels of health. Lower normal levels of cholesterol, higher levels of health. So we need to go after your health more so than the number. Hey, in the second half of the show, we're going to turn the spotlight onto a profound truth. Elevated cholesterol itself is not a disease. It's a reaction. That's right. When your cholesterol levels go up, it means your body is physically malfunctioning. It's adapting. It's protecting. It's repairing. In functional medicine, we understand that these types of symptoms, elevations in cholesterols, triglycerides, LDLs, it is not a mistake, it's a message. High cholesterol is one of the clearest messages that your bodies can send to you that something deeper is out of balance. Think of it as it's the check engine light. As soon as that engine light goes off, you should be going, oh my gosh, I need to have a full body exam and evaluation to find out what root reason is out of balance. That's why my cholesterol is high. So think about it. Would your body make and manufacture cholesterol if it weren't trying to solve a problem? Your liver doesn't just make cholesterol by an accident. It was physically designed to be able to produce this molecule because it is a response to inflammation, oxidative damage, hormone imbalances. We talked about that earlier. This massive plague of low testosterone in most men and progesterone estrogen imbalances in most women is because we have accidentally been following this idea of eat low fat, eat low cholesterol, and drive our numbers down with prescriptive medications. These aren't random occurrences. These are lifestyle-driven, environmentally triggered events that tell your body it needs more of an essential building block in order to survive and heal. Wait a minute, Dr. Ernst, are you saying that my high cholesterol is actually a healthy response? My doctor's telling me I'm about to have a heart attack. It's because they're listening to the dogma of the 50s and 60s. So in this segment, we're going to walk you through the 5 most common root causes of why cholesterol elevates in the first place. And specifically for each one of them, I'm going to give you a natural solution that is rooted in functional medicine and holistic healing. And in fact, these are strategies that I have personally used in the Ask Dr. Ernst clinics here in the Carolinas to see hundreds of thousands of people over the last 20 years lower and get off the reliance on not just statins, but also blood pressure medications and other issues that they're taking for their heart. Remember, this show exists to empower you, give you actionable steps, not just helping you manage your numbers. That's why I highly encourage you, download the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook. Simply text the word heart plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. You're going to see in here why the whole component of chasing after HDLs and LDLs is backwards. The saturated fat myth, why we've been told you shouldn't eat saturated fats. It's going to cause heart disease. But in fact, there's studies showing if you eat high levels of plant-based saturated fats, you can actually decrease stress on your heart and even reverse some of the atherosclerotic plaquing. It reveals a component of history where there was a fight in science to say, who are we going to say is the cause of heart disease? The research was evident and clear. It was sugar, it was inflammation, but various researchers got paid off to shift it and not say it was grains and sugars, but instead to say it was fats. So it was actually a buyout where they said, let's pay to say it's fat. And then guess what? We ate that animal like you can't imagine. This is why everybody's so scared of eating red meats, even still today, despite the fact that if you eat healthy, grass-fed red meats, you can lower cardiovascular risks. If you eat corn-fed, antibiotic-driven, hormone-induced, I'll call it standard red meats, that can drive inflammation and cause cardiovascular damage. Not that the red meat's doing it, but it's the diet of the animal itself. We know that heavily corn-fed animals are high in omega-6 inflammation markers, and they're extremely inflamed. Their fats are oxidative. If we eat those, we get sick. It even goes into the connection between your gut and your heart, and it discusses every functional cause and gives you action steps. It's all yours free. Just simply text the word heart with your name and email right now. Look at all the text coming in to 704-906-2094. We just need name, email, the word heart. It's yours. And again, Saturday, June 21st, I'm hosting what's known as the Charlotte and surrounding areas Heart Heal Thyself Masterclass. It's a live event. You don't have to go anywhere, though. It's all on the ease of your computer. Simply click a link we send you, hop on the masterclass, and I'll show you how you can become your own cardiologist and solve your issues. But we need to know a little bit more about you. What's going on? How long has it been happening? You're going to get a survey, a history form, and then we'll customize the event specific to you. Again, 704-906-2094, the word heart, your name and email. And guys, there's nothing more valuable than taking 10 or 15 seconds, grabbing that phone of yours, open up your messaging app, 704-906-2094. You can even send the heart emoji icon if you want. We just need your name and your email and the heart word icon so we can tag it and send you what you need. Okay, so by the end of the show today, you're going to understand, again, why cholesterol keeps climbing. It's not because you're at risk for heart disease. It's inflammatory reactions to healing molecule. You're going to understand how you can restore them by going after the top 5 causes. And here they are. Number 1, inflammation and oxidative stress. The first and most overlooked reason that your cholesterol levels might be climbing is the fact that you're inflamed and you're becoming oxidized. These two twin triggers ignite nearly every chronic disease known to man, not just cardiovascular disease, but even things like diabetes, metabolic syndrome, gut dysfunctions, you name it, arthritis, inflammation, etc. Inflammation can damage the lining of our arteries, which creates microscopic tears. Think of them as like small rips that requires immediate repair. How does your body recognize this response? Neurologically, the brain becomes aware of the inflammation. There's nerve signaling from the vessels to your brain. Your brain will kick this and say, liver, make some cholesterol because I need to go in there and I have to structurally patch these small micro tears. Think of it like an emergency crew responding to potholes in the road. Would you blame the emergency crew for the potholes? That's what we're doing when we blame total cholesterol and LDL levels for cardiovascular disease. Remember, cholesterol is not causing the damage. It's showing up to fix it. And I know you might be thinking like, good God, this is like so against everything my physicians have been telling me. Well, why don't you start listening to more holistic physicians? Dr. Jack Wolfson, for example, integrative cardiology, based out of Arizona. Massive conversations behind how total cholesterol is not the villainous cause of cardiovascular disease. Great amount of books. Guys, there's research, there's doctors, it's available. Just start looking it up. You can even ask AI. You'd be amazed the answers you get from AI when you ask the right questions. The situation gets worse, though, because when the cholesterol that your body's producing to help you heal those micro tears gets oxidized, which means free radical damage from usually you eating too many processed foods, or if you're a smoker, or if you have elevated blood sugars, you're a diabetic, or you have environmental toxins in your body, enter every person on the planet, or you're chronically stressed, high levels of cortisol enter every person on the planet, then the LDL becomes oxidized and it starts to stick. This is why so many people with heart attacks have normal cholesterol levels, because you're not looking at your oxidative levels. Conventional medicine rarely tests for inflammation and oxidation. That's why those 5 tests I gave you at the previous segment before the commercial break are so important. 2 extremely valuable markers: high sensitivity C-reactive protein, and you can actually have your oxidized LDL levels measured. These markers give you a much clearer picture of whether the cholesterol is behaving normally or it's being coerced into more of a toxic inflammatory response. The good news is that both of these markers can be reduced, and you can start to see the vessels actually become less plaqued. From a functional medicine perspective, we need to remove the source of inflammation, which is almost always a diet high in seed oils, canola, corn, Wesson, etc. Processed grains, so eating wheat products and corn and rice and oats. Sugars or refined sugars added to your diet. Many people start seeing huge cardiovascular turnarounds when they adopt an anti-inflammatory diet. You could even do ketovoric, which is high fat, moderate protein, low carbs, and focusing on clean animal-based proteins, fish, chicken, turkey, yes, eggs, and yes, red meats, as long as they're not corn and soy fed. And you can start to support your body with ultra-high doses of omega-3 oils. Look, as much as 5 grams a day can reduce inflammation. Antioxidants like CoQ10, go up to 1,000 milligrams if you need. Even vitamin E, up to 400 international units. When you do this, you address the inflammatory root cause, and guess what happens to cholesterols? They start to normalize by themselves because you eliminate the fire instead of trying to blow off the smoke. That's the principle that we're going to keep revisiting. It is an inflammatory reaction why cholesterol goes up. Okay, number 2, did you know your thyroid is intimately connected to your cholesterol levels? And so many people are walking around with poor thyroid function, having something known as functional hypothyroidism. It's where your numbers look normal with TSH and T4, yet either the conversion to the active thyroid hormone is ineffective, or, like most people, you're pushing your inactive thyroid hormone over to something called reverse T3, which is a toxic version of thyroid hormone, which causes inflammation and irritation and oxidation. What makes this even worse is that many times this level of functional hypothyroidism goes undiagnosed. Conventional medicine usually relies on just TSH or T4, but they rarely look deep enough to find out, are you converting properly by checking free and bound T3? They also rarely ever look at the actual reverse T3 molecules, or heaven forbid, the antibodies. Here's where this gets to be empowering. Instead of throwing a statin at the problem, if the thyroid is present as having a functional root issue, we can start supporting the thyroid with things like selenium and iodine and zinc, and even certain adaptogenic herbs that help to enhance how the thyroid communicates with the pituitary gland and your adrenals. When your thyroid is more supported, even if you haven't been diagnosed as having a thyroid issue, cholesterol levels can drop without changing a single thing in your diet. That's because when you correct the system that manages cholesterol rather than attacking it, the body will innately respond the way that it should. And so the bigger challenge is, have you had your thyroid tested properly? Most people, again, TSH, T4, it's not enough. You'll be labeled that your thyroid's fine. Go deeper. Free T3, free T4, bound T3, bound T4, reverse T3, thyroid antibodies, TPO, and thyroglobulin. Find a holistic physician who can help you read these. And if you have an underlying functional root thyroid issue, there's a potential cause of the elevated cholesterol. And again, all of this is listed for you in the Thyroid Heal Thyself ebook. So if you're going like, well, how do I do this? And what are the testing? Dr. Ernst, you're going too fast. Simply text the word HEART with your name and email right now to 704-906-2094. Ebook yours, free, Masterclass, Saturday, June 21st. I'll take you through step by step, specific for you. I just need to know, do you want to be on the event so I can show you how to do that? Root cause number 3. Again, a big one. We talk about it every single show. The insulin resistance that you probably have because you're subdiagnosed or not even at all as being either pre-diabetic or having early signs of insulin resistance. This is, in my opinion, the most widespread reason for elevated cholesterol levels in the first place, primarily because excess sugar consumption and refined carbohydrates force your body into an inflamed state. And this metabolic mayhem is what is known as the chronic disease epidemic climbing throughout America. When your body's bombarded with sugar, your pancreas is forced to pump out insulin and shuttle glucose into the cells of your body. And over time, as you stop responding to the signal, insulin levels go up. One of the greatest tests you can do for cardiovascular function, not cholesterol, is looking at your fasting insulin levels. A fasting insulin north of 5 is a warning. North of 10, a major warning. North of 15, you're getting into the zone of having insulin resistance. High insulin directly stimulates your liver to produce triglycerides, LDL, and cholesterol. So if you have high levels of insulin, you're going to have high levels of cholesterol, regardless of how much you work out or regardless of what your diet looks like. Most people are shocked to learn that sugar, not fat, is what's really driving cholesterol relationships. For decades, again, we've been told low fat this, low fat that, skim this, go with the grains and breads and make sure you eat your cereals and drink your milk. But all of that causes insulin elevations. Thus, your liver has to churn out more cholesterol to combat the inflammation in the first place. And meanwhile, by the way, HDL will often drop in the presence of high amounts of insulin. So it's driving the good cholesterol down and making you more oxidizable. The tragedy here is that standard lipid panels do not check for insulin. They focus instead just on cholesterol. How do we look at this? You need to get a fasting insulin test. It's real simple. I think it costs like $7 or $8. You need to look at your hemoglobin A1C. So we can determine for the last 120 days, have your sugars been elevated even if you don't know them? You need to start thinking about doing what are called glucose challenge tests, where you fast for a day and you measure your sugars to see, do they actually go down by themselves and will they stabilize in the ideal ranges of 70 to 90? You need to start checking your sugars after you eat so you can see, is the food I'm eating driving my sugar really high or am I in a healthy state? Think of it as post-food sugar checks that you can do with real simple monitoring. So what's the solution here? Well, we need to get insulin resistance broken. And for most of you, you need to start changing the foods you're eating to become healthier, lower carbohydrate laden. Cut out the grains, cut out the dairy, cut out many of the carbohydrates, focus on healthy, clean fats. Everything you need dietarily is in the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook. You can grab it right now for free, 704-906-2094. Just simply text your name, your email, and the word heart. Boom, it's yours. We like to use what's known as the 5-1-1 protocol. 5 days to intermittent fast, 1 day to 24-hour fast, 1 day to recover, eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This pattern, known as 5-1-1 intermittent fasting, has been shown scientifically and even clinically to lower your insulin levels quickly. You can also use things like berberine, chromium and vanadium, which are minerals that open the insulin receptor. And all of these help to regulate insulin, which will help to support your liver, promote better blood sugars. And guess what? As your insulin levels come down, cholesterol will self-correct by itself. Not because you fought off cholesterol, but because you removed the signal that was triggering the cholesterol in the first place. And guys, I don't know about you, but this is the brilliance of addressing underlying root causes. Okay, cause number 4, toxic exposure, or what I would call chronic liver inflammation and dysfunction. This is one of the most insidious reasons because cholesterol is a result of toxic overload within your liver. Remember, your liver is your central command center for cholesterol production and even for the clearance. So your body's primary detox organ should be able to shuttle used cholesterol through bile out into your stools. So when your body becomes burdened with heavy metals or pesticides or mold toxins or environmental pollutants, even over-counter medications and prescription medications can stress your liver out. So the result is the liver says, well, hey, I need to retain this cholesterol. I need to produce more cholesterol because the liver, need it itself. In functional medicine, we often look at high cholesterol as being those people who are exposed to chronic low-grade toxicity. Maybe you live in a moldy environment, or you use commercial cleaning products in your industry or your profession, or you are not switching to organic food products. Unfortunately, there's a tremendous amount of toxins available in the environment today, and all we need to do is to begin detoxing the body. And I'm going to be honest with you, the entire detox protocol that you need is in the Functional Approach to Heart Disease ebook. So just text your word heart, your name, your email. We'll send it directly over to you. Quickly, a couple things that can help to enhance liver detoxification. Milk thistle, dandelion, artichoke, liposomal glutathione, and even phosphatidylcholine. These are going to be things you find in your classic liver detoxifying products, and they work. Don't forget some of the most simple techniques: coffee enemas, castor oil packing for your liver and your gallbladder, infrared saunas to help you sweat toxins out. When you support your liver's ability to detox, cholesterol levels often start to course correct. So what if you did all 4 of these? Get your thyroid balanced, clean out your liver, work on reducing your toxic exposures. You can even start to do things like, again, addressing thyroid functionality and working on reducing your inflammation. Okay, number 5. I've got about 4.5 minutes. This is an entire show in and of itself, but gut dysbiosis and leaky gut is directly connected to high cholesterol levels. Most people think of your gut as something that's often separated from your heart, but in reality, there is what's known as your gut-heart index. It actually connects. The gut talks with your heart talks with your gut. When your gut is out of balance, harmful bacteria, yeast, parasites, and often things that are thriving in your intestines can physically leak. Now listen to this. When the gut barrier is compromised, lipopolysaccharides, which are toxins from gram-negative bacteria, can leak into your bloodstream. Lipopolysaccharides are an extremely highly inflammatory molecule, and they trigger a response, and guess what the production is? Cholesterol is there to fight. Again, because your body uses cholesterol to bind toxins. I don't think enough people realize cholesterol is a detoxifying molecule. So if you have high levels of organic toxins, your liver's congested, cholesterol goes up. If you have a leaky gut and you're leaking lipopolysaccharides, which almost every single person these days is doing, your body uses cholesterol as a shield to protect you against the toxins from the gut. Again, remember, if you're prescribed a statin, the challenge is statins make the gut leak even more. So therefore, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, which is why most people said, well, I started taking a statin, my cholesterol went down, but all of a sudden they're going back up again. It's because the statin makes your gut leak and the lipopolysaccharides drive inflammation, and then the enzymes kick back in. Did you know there's tests you can have done that can actually measure the degree of your gut leak? Very simple urine panels. And again, if you're looking for protocols on how do I solve a gut leak, it's in the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook, and I'll reveal them to you specifically on the Masterclass Saturday, June 21st. Just text the word heart plus your name and email right now to 704-906-2094. Hey, in the interim, glutamine, collagen, zinc carnosine, colostrum, these are all things that are really nourishing to the gut and can help you to seal them. But the best bet is if you start intermittent fasting, start going more ketovoric, right? Low carb, high fat, healthy fats, moderate proteins, address thyroid dysfunctions, work on detoxing your body, work on sealing your gut, and guess what you've just done? You hit the powerhouse, all 5 components of what elevates cholesterol in the first place. And so that wraps up our show today. The 5 reasons behind cholesterol. It's not a threat. It's your body's natural healing response. Chronic inflammation, struggling thyroids, insulin resistance, toxic overloads, leaky gut syndromes. There's the 5 culprits. And if you address them, download the ebook. Every step you need is in there. You can become your own cardiovascular self-healing doctor and reduce and potentially eliminate the need for popping medications. Hey, I hope you found today's show to be helpful. If you'd like more information, just visit AskDrErnst.com. But truly, the best step for you is download the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook now. Text the word heart plus your name and email to 906-2094. And hey, each week as we lead up to the Masterclass on the 21st, I'm going to break down myths behind heart disease. We're going to talk next week about the foods you're eating that's actually making your heart sick, but you think it's helping your heart. Until then, be blessed and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.